we really dealt with. So that was an interesting experience. There's some, this is also, this camp, so we were in Knoxville, and there was kind of a tree wooded area in the back where we dump our garbage, and because the facility wasn't really built to deal with all of us being there, the trash was always just overfilling. And one day, the materials manager walks outside and he sees a bear eating out of the trash can. So there is a very graphic video of that not graphic, but very language intense video of him seeing the bear, because why not videotape it? So that was that trip. And then that's all I got. So, questions?
Did you have any problems with, how can I say this, with the boys and girls mixing? I mean, what were the sleeping arrangements were such that you didn't have problems?
With the campers or with us?
Is that a tone of guilt?
The campers, they're separated. It's divided. So if there's not a wall dividing it, we build a wall with a black tarp. Lots of that, but that doesn't prevent it. They call it, at training, they call it purpling.
They call it what?
Purpling?
Purpling.
Yeah.
Purpling. When you
Yes.
mix, yeah.
Yes, yes.
When you mix red and blue.
Yes, correct. And so we didn't experience any of that until our last camp, when we found an employee of the church and a girl of one of the youth groups on Friday night, and it was not good, and their youth leader found it, and it was on tape, and we had a whole spiel. It was not fun to deal with, but also it was something that my office manager, that was really her role, and the director's role, to step in and decide what to do about it. That wasn't one of my tasks, so I didn't have to worry about it. Kind of. I mean, I worried about it because I worried about everyone's everything, because that's just what I do. But that was really fall under her role, and she was trained to deal with that situation. And I'm sure it happened at other camps who just didn't catch it. Because, yeah.
So it's a total of 8 weeks then? Is that right? 2 training and 2 weeks per camp?
Yeah, that works out. Yeah. And there's, I had 1 off week too, so it was about that. I got back on August 1st. So, and it would be about the same this year.
And then will you serve in a different role this year, or the same role, or do you know yet?
So I will serve as a crew manager, but I'll be the trainer of the crew managers. So when I'm in Colorado, I'll come a week earlier and learn how to train them, and then I'll be the person that's telling them how to do their job. So it's not different, but it's slightly more.
Is this helping to shape what you think you want to do when you're through school and things, or not yet, or?
Yes and no. It makes me feel like I can actually do classroom management and not completely have kids stomp all over me, but at the same time, it makes me want to go into more missionary work type thing. So yes, it does, but in different ways sometimes.
When will you find out where you'll be? You know, when you're in Colorado?
Yeah. The 3rd day of training.
Okay.
When we do the whole announcement of who we're grouping with, we also learn where we go. Yeah. So.
How do you pick the groups of kids that work together? Is it random, or is there a method?
Both. It's random. It's all computer. It's all in a database that's specifically designed for a group for that thing. But it's also so it's randomized as much as it can be. There's some what we call special situations. So like youth groups request to all be together. Sometimes when Catholic churches come, they have to all be together. So there's those situations when they're not randomized, and so I input that into the system. But once I have clicked the randomize button, I go back through and flip through the pages and check and make sure things like it didn't put a crew of all boys and one girl, or a bunch of 18-year-olds and then like a 13-year-old type of thing. And I also go through and look and make sure that if there's someone with really high carpentry skills, they don't get put on like a painting job, because there's more than likely they'll be needed on an actual carpentry job. So I try to go back and manually check all those things, but sometimes that also gets screwed up. So it's kind of a little bit of both.
Like your Uncle John putting down that he has the highest carpentry.
Yes, I had that happen to me. At one of the camps, I had a crew that had 2 adults, and the second adult was freaking out because they got put on like a really hard carpentry site that even struggled to get done with the carpentry person. And he came up to me and he was like, the lady that I'm with said she has 5 worth like the top ranking of carpentry skills, but she's never touched a tool in her life. She did it wrong. They all fill out surveys, and so he's like, they filled out the survey wrong, and I don't know how to do carpentry, and I was like, great. So now I have to switch everybody after everyone has met everybody. So there's those troubles too, but the puzzle that is fun to solve. The challenges and the people are the 2 biggest parts of the job that I liked.
I think you could do about anything
Yeah.
that you want to do
think
and
so, too.
handle people and situations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
The experience
After
that
this.
you're getting,
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
boy,
yeah.
yeah.
It was definitely very changing in that way.
Mhm.
Learn how to deal with people. because
Yes.
You have to.
Can you use kind of a calm demeanor, or do you get really kind of uptight, or have you learned to just kind of, chill out?
I feel like I did really good being calm, especially around the campers, and by the last week, it was like things were going crazy, and like food was not ready when it needed to be ready, and I was like, I had my cafeteria host next to me being like, what are we gonna do? And I was like, it'll work out, it's fine, it'll be fine, it's what it is, like. And so by the end of the summer, I was like that. I was not like that to start, so you can definitely see that progress. It was a lot of like, it's gonna work out, it has all other camps, it's gonna work out this time too. Like, I did a lot of reminding myself of that, but some of the interpersonal stuff with the staff was harder for me, because when I get to know someone, I get more aggressive with them, almost, or like I'm more willing to show my emotions than I would with the campers. So that's kind of where I ran into, I'm not trouble, but I had more issues with.
But you worked them all out.
Kind of, yeah.
I assume you will not be with the same group next time?
No.
And how do they go about choosing you guys to be in your group of 4?
Yeah, so we go through the first year of applications, we go through a really long application process. It's like 4 or 5 parts, and we have to make a video, and you have to do a phone interview, and then we have to do a video interview. And so they really get to know us as people during that process. And then after that, they take us, and like this year I had to do a personality test. And so they take us and what they know about us and try to mix us and match us together so that we can be a functioning crew. With that said, that doesn't always work. But during training, they do a lot of sessions where they try to get us together as a group and together bonding and being able to recognize things that, like, we ourselves have our weaknesses and our strengths and things that drive us insane. And being able to say those things like right off the front when we're not all stressed out, so that we, going into the weeks, know that, and to hopefully help